This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Turn that off. Well, all right. Good morning, everybody. It is 9:34. We will go ahead and call the Technical Advisory Committee meeting of KTMPO to order. And then we will roll into opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody in the room that has public comment for the TAC? All right. Anita, I believe we have one person online that does wish to address the TAC, and they're aware that they have a 3-minute time limit and that we won't be able to respond, correct?
That is correct. Ms. Edith?
I'm on.
You're on, Ms. Edith.
Okay, am I ready? Are y'all ready for me?
We're ready.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Edith Wagner Harrison, and I live in Lampasas, and I live in the Woodland Acres subdivision that is off of 281. Concern for the safety of the intersection of Highway 281 and County Road 4016 of Lampasas. I'm a resident of Woodland Acres subdivision that is off of County Road 4016. This intersection has changed a year ago with no work since then. I think this was poor planning on someone's part. I know the reason behind it was to put the drainage in under 281. I think someone excavated too big of an area, and then you had to move the entrance from the old turnoff to County Road 4016 because the excavation was too close to the County Road 4016. I know this is a temporary situation, but it has been a year. We have been patient. It's hard to get in and out of Highway 281 with this loose gravel temporary entrance to County Road 4016. The speed of traffic on Highway 281 is too fast. You try to accelerate from a stop to get onto 281 to a 2-lane road, and your tires are spinning in the gravel. You try to get off of 281 onto the entrance quickly because of traffic, and it is bumpy, and you slide around on the gravel. When you go from this temporary entrance onto County Road 4016, it is a tight turn, and if a vehicle is coming down County Road 4016, you must wait before you can turn onto County Road 4016. This causes traffic to back up on the temporary entrance or leave someone sitting on Highway 281 waiting to turn. And there has been about, I think, 12 vehicle wrecks that I know of. Thank goodness there's no fatalities, but it has been rear-ended each other. They've had a 4-car pileup one day, but thank goodness it was not fatalities involved. My future concern is what this completed entrance is going to look like. Is the temporary road configuration going to be permanent? There's a substantial amount of traffic coming out of the Woodland Acres neighborhood with 18 residents and a ranch residing off the County Road 4016. There are trucks and trailers coming out of the neighborhood on a regular basis. And we're also across the road from the Lampasas High School, which is, I'm not sure how many students go to school there, but a lot when it comes to a 2-lane road. I'm scheduling a meeting with the engineer. He's reached out to me, and I'm going to try to schedule a meeting with him to address our issue. This doesn't affect just me, but all the other residents of Woodland Acres and of Lampasas County and the school kiddos. Thank you for your time listening to my concerns. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
No.
From the public?
No other comments from the public.
Okay. Thank you. We will move to agenda item 3. That is an action item regarding approval of the minutes from the February 5th, 2025 meeting, pages 7 through 11 in your packet.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion.
I'll second that.
A second. All right. Any discussion on the minutes? Questions, revisions needed? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 4 is a discussion and action item regarding recommending approval of resolution 2025-05, recognizing April 2025 as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, pages 13 through 15. Callie?
All right, so the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and several other organizations promote April as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. This is a resolution that we also approved last year to promote April as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. The resolution is promoting like letting people, the cities, according to their ordinances, promote April as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We have a few statistics from our region specifically. This is a snapshot from our CRIS data dashboard from 2019 to 2023, which is the data we have available. And there were 7 fatalities in our region within those years, and then 42 serious injuries and 8 serious injuries that they were involved with non-motorized vehicles, so pedestrians or otherwise. This is a resolution I'm putting forward to you to recommend approval for April as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions about the resolution? As she mentioned, we did bring this forward last month, I believe, when we brought it forward, or last year. I believe when we brought it forward last year, we called it the National Distracted Driving Month.
Yes.
So we added the awareness in prior to the TAC meeting this time. If there aren't any questions, yes, sir.
Just to clarify, Callie, all these crashes are, the cause was distracted driving.
That's correct.
This isn't total for the region.
No, these are just that have the attributing factor being distracted driving.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
Just a comment I just looked up because I was looking at this 2 days ago for Temple, and driver retention was the second contributing factor for crashes in Temple. Just last year, we had 309 crashes, so fully support this.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion. Second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? That motion carries. All right, agenda item 5 is a discussion and action item regarding recommending approval of resolution 2025-06, supporting the 2025 transit asset management performance targets established by Hill Country Transit District, pages 17 through 21. Callie?
All right, so this is one we do every year as well, and we get these from the Hill County Transit District, and it evaluates, Hill Country, my apologies. It evaluates all the assets that they have that are in a state of good repair and their useful bench life for their transit asset management plan, and it utilizes those data to maintain their different assets, including their vans and buses, and also I believe facilities. And we've been accepting and approving of these benchmarks since March of 2018. And if you go to the next slide, we have those listed, and they have their different assets for like their rolling fleet and total maintenance equipment, and they're trying to keep all of those around 30% within their useful life benchmark. So.
Thank you, Kelly. And just for everybody's awareness, as KTMPO is not the transit provider, and Hill Country is, we are required to adopt targets for the transit district. So what we do is we rely on Hill Country to provide these. I'm happy to open the floor for Daryl to talk to the targets for this one and the next one when the time comes.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we just went through a major transition, and we've got double the number of vehicles that we normally have, and we're trying to auction off a lot of the old vehicles, et cetera. So these numbers are skewed a little bit because of the numbers, the size and the denominators, et cetera, being skewed. We're in the process of going through that, cleaning it up. We've had one off, we're about to have another one. And we also just completed the transition of resizing the district, going from 9 counties down to 4 counties. So all of those things play a factor in these numbers. And so anyway, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that particular sheet of paper up there. Next year, you'll see entirely different numbers, and I think you'll see those percentages where they should be.
Daryl, these numbers, this is the 9 county fleet, so it will be a much smaller too. And I guess what will the impact of microtransit be on this?
Well, they're entirely different sized vehicles. We have had a couple of minor accidents, but it's much, much different than a big heavy duty bus. I think we're going with a safer route right now. I think we're going with a more cost economic approach. And as far as the percentages there, percentages of assets that have exceeded their useful life, you're seeing numbers up there like 34%, 69%. That's because we have a fleet of old buses that are literally just sitting in the parking lot right now. We're getting rid of them. So you'll see that number drop significantly. But as far as microtransit, actually the number, normal size fleet versus a microtransit size fleet, we actually will have a larger fleet if you're comparing apples to apples, rather than the overlap time. We've got a year of overlap here that's skewed.
I guess there would be different sized vehicles, like the fleet makeup will be a little different, but the benchmarks will stay the same.
Right. Instead of a big 40-foot heavy duty bus, virtually most of our fleet now are Ford Transits, F-250s, F-350s, that size vehicle, and they hold right around 12 to 14 passengers, depending on the actual vehicle.
Daryl, when it comes time for repairs, is it easier to get parts for the vans, get spare parts for the vans versus the old buses?
We had major trouble with that through COVID. That has, there's been a lot of relief there, and we've done a couple of things different. There's 13 vehicles on Fort Cavazos. Those are leased vehicles through Enterprise, and we have adopted their maintenance program that goes along with them. So they literally take care of all maintenance except for tires. We have to do our own tires. But so that's a, I don't know if you call it a pilot program. It's kind of a miniature pilot program. We wanted to see how it works, and we like it quite a lot. The rest of them, we have our own shop. We have our own mechanics, keeping up with them like we always do. And so we're evaluating the cost factors on that right now. So far, I think it's leaning towards being less expensive with leased vehicles and a good replacement. Right. There's some cons to go with it as well, but it's a good program.
Are there any negative impacts to Hill Country for having performance stuff? I think we asked this maybe last year during this time too, because of all the everything that was going on.
Has there been any negative impacts?
Are you guys impacted negatively from FTA, or do you guys get a slap on the wrist because you have,
Because of this, no, they understand. We work with FTA and TxDOT both hand in hand. They know exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it. They're well aware of these numbers. There's no slap on the hand. It's all explained to them.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
Your resolution. Move to accept the numbers at 30%.
Second.
Second.
Further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. Agenda item 6, discussion and action item regarding recommending approval of 2025-07, supporting the 2025 Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan, performance targets established by Hill Country Transit District, pages 23 to 27. Kelly?
Right, so this is our final performance target for 2025. And we also get these numbers from Hill Country Transit District for their transit agency safety plan. We've also been adopting that since March 2021, and those are the numbers we've received from them. Daryl, if you want to speak further.
Yeah, the PTASP is a federally mandated safety program. We started that about 4 years ago, I believe. It's very time consuming. When we first got started, we thought, oh my goodness. But I would say over the last 4 years, it's a program that's very, very worthwhile. We meet on a monthly, we've got a PTASP committee, we meet on a monthly basis. We go over every incident, every accident. And we evaluate causes and is there anything we can do to prevent those. We implement those changes, and it's a good program all the way around. We like it, we'll continue doing it. It is federally mandated, so of course we'll continue doing it, but we're not doing it because our arm is twisted behind our back. We actually see a lot of value in the PTASP program.
Any questions, Daryl or staff? No.
I have one. With the switch to microtransit, do you see the target shifting any, like next year, or gonna wait a year and then reassess?
Yes, there will be a shift in targets. Again, it's because of the type of vehicle and the size, type and size of vehicle and the number of vehicles. It all shifts a little bit, but for the better. As far as safety record and all that, I think there will be an improvement.
Questions? Or motion? Move to approve. Second. We did the second. Further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, agenda item 7 is a discussion item only. And this is regarding the draft 26-27 Unified Planning Work Program, our UPWP. Our UPWP is our internal budget document for staff activities and what we use our planning dollars for. We have started the process of updating our UPWP for the FY 26 and 27 because we run on a 2-year cycle. We've received our funding expectations from TxDOT for FY 26. What you'll see in front of you on the screen, we have a timeline. This is being brought to you right now in very, very rough draft. Not all of the information is complete. We just wanted to get something in front of you. We're also going to take a draft to the policy board, but we'll have to have a draft actually completed somewhere April, May timeframe, submitted to TxDOT so they can review it, kick it back to us, and then we can make any changes, have the policy board approve it, and then send it back to TxDOT and Federal Highways. That being said, right now staff are really working on the budget, the dollars, but there are a lot of things we have to look for in the narrative of what we're going to be doing. The planning emphasis areas that used to be required now may or may not be required. We really don't know what we may or may not have to remove from the narrative that's been required for the past that was required in the previous administration. So we may see this document kicked back and forth between Tech Stop, Federal Highways, us a few times until we get it right and get the narrative correct. The numbers I don't think will be a problem. We're typically pretty good at budgeting the dollars. So really, this is just a document for you guys to review when you have time. Feel free to shoot over any questions you may have, any thoughts you may have. We're happy to answer those. If you had a chance to look at it before the meeting, great. I'm happy to try and answer any questions now. I know we got it out kind of late. I think it was sent out Monday. But we had a new template coming from TechStot, and the numbers that we had to get in there before bringing it to the TAC. So we just wanted to get something in front of you. Open any questions, conversation.
We've already had a couple conversations in regard to a couple projects we've had to clean, so we know we have to work with you on updating some verbiage on description of this one project.
Yeah, for the projects, and that'll be, I'll cover some of that in my director's update. But yeah, and this is just for the NPO work that we do step-wise here. This doesn't really impact projects unless we have a study or a major plan update that we're doing. Questions on the UPWP? Missing anything, James?
No, I would not focus too much on the words because we were focusing on the numbers first. And it's kind of a first draft that the estimate, what we project to get over the next 2 years based on our carryover amounts and what TechStot saying we might get FHWA, and then breaking that down by fiscal year. I think the biggest difference in the template this time from previous is they have a breakdown by fiscal year, which in the past it was more of a combined, or it was set up differently. So it showed the 2026 budget and 2027 budget, which is probably better for everybody, transparency on that.
Questions? All right. Then we will move to agenda item 8, which is also a discussion item regarding an update on the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, pages 31 to 32.
I don't have much. Last time, TAC approved the plan, and then last week, executive committee approved it, and mostly board approved it 2 weeks ago. Killeen-Temple, I think yesterday, maybe Monday, they sent over, there were some last finalized things that changed the name to final, so they sent over that version, which we're going to get posted. We have some wrap up things with them as far as the F-Spray website, and there's some data and documents on there we want to get into our files and on the NPO website, SICOG website, and then we'll see the in-kind update, which I don't know if it changed much since the last meeting, but we're still working on getting that last 25,000 between now and July when the grant officially ends.
And if you receive something from DocuSign and are leery, please just reach out. But we are sending requests via DocuSign for you to sign documents so that we can account for all of the in-kind dollars, so that I don't have to show up at the council meeting with my hand out crying that we couldn't do it all with in-kind.
Remember one more thing, the safety task force, which has been meeting, we're working with Kim Horn on what the next steps are. And Jason, I don't know if you want to say anything about that. He's been asked and / volunteered to lead that. But there will be continual meetings even after this grant ends for safety and implementing the SSRA plan.
Yeah, the idea is to keep some of the momentum going. We've been looking at the data, we've been listening to folks like the lady that spoke this morning, to identify both data solutions, but also public input. Because you don't know everything sitting behind a desk. You got to get out and talk to folks. So we want to continue to have those conversations, continue to update the data. One of the things that we'll pay pay special attention to, we talk about is other areas do this when there's a fatality, there's a fatality review group that sits down and looks at what were the causes, what solutions could be, identified and implemented. And if it works in Belton, then maybe Temple doesn't have to go back to square one. How did Bob do it? Just cheat off Bob's paper. That we share that information to the community. Because I know Bob's a smart guy.
What happens all the time?
So yeah, we'll keep going. And I think we agreed that it would be more of a quarterly discussion. And as needed, if there wasn't anything that we needed to get together on, maybe we just postpone it. We will play it by ear.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, any other questions about the SS4A grant? This is coming to an end. You're gonna miss it in the next few meetings, I guarantee you. All right, agenda item 9 is a discussion item regarding public input received through February 2025. This is pages 33 to 35. Anita.
Thank you. Right now, KTMPO has 2 streams of public comment. One is the public engagement activity, and then we also have the public comment summary. This right here is a list of the public comments that we started receiving in January. And we have 2 new public comments that we received in March, and they are actually in your packet. One was from Miss Edith Wagner, and the other one had to do with the intersection at Nola Ruth Boulevard and Central Texas Expressway. Both of those public comments were directed to the appropriate TxDOT staff. One was TxDOT Brownwood and the other was TxDOT Waco. And KTMPO does understand that the Brownwood comment from Ms. Wagner is outside of the KTMPO region. But since we do have a representation with Lampasas County on our TAC and policy board, we did include that and help facilitate getting her comment to the right stakeholders. Do you mind going to the next slide, please? This is our public engagement activities. That's when KTMPO staff actually go out into the public and present on different things. So this is more about questions that we receive than public comments. So it's an opportunity to educate on different programs. And as you can see there, we had at the last meeting with the Care Leadership Network, we had opportunity to educate on public transit and using the HOP app. So that was like fun to really help get the word out on that. And then we also had a question on the vet ride program. Do y'all have any questions about the direction that we're going with our comments?
Thank you, Anita. No questions, comments, concerns? All right, thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 10 is the director's update, pages 37 to 40. As you'll see on the screen and in your packet, we have our upcoming meetings listed, with our next one being March 19th for the Transportation Planning Policy Board. All meetings, of course, are scheduled for 9:30 a.m. here at the SITCOG offices. Other updates, I'll kind of let James get into the FY25 and 28 TIP update, as well as the APL, and then I'll finish with my update.
These are all administrative modifications that we'll be making to the TIP. We actually got word this morning that the November revision was approved, so I know there was quite a few projects we added. Those are now officially in the STIP and the eSTIP, which is great for Lenny. All of the changes except for one here are let exchanges, which we don't have to make in a normal cycle, but we do want to inform TAC and policy board before we make them. The one non-let date change is the Nolanville's Railroad Crossing safety. They've requested a little bit of additional funding to cover the expenses. They're more than what they were. So the original funded amount was $731,000, and the new construction amount, we just increased it to a flat $1 million. for the MPO, the federal dollars that are coming from the MPO, it's an increase of 215,000 just about, and we have a couple million in unallocated funds, even after all the projects were added. So we're staff believes it's worth giving a little bit of extra funding so they can improve railroad safety.
James, could you refresh my memory? Because I know Kara was working on that for the longest time. Which crossing or crossings was this for?
It's Pleasant Hill and Jackrabbit, and they had Fifth Street in there and another one, but I think Fifth Street got covered by another project.
They did one, yes, right there at City Hall.
Pleasant Hill and Jackrabbit are the two that we have in the tip sheet.
Thanks, sir.
So, I mean, the one thing, again, remind on the category 10 grants here, our discussion, with textiles, we've got to change the scope to match what we're actually doing. The original scope for the grant is listed as like one sidewalk, one side between here, but we made it a bigger project, so we need to change the verbiage of the scope to match what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah, and we can definitely do that. Any scope change will require a formal amendment, and the next opportunity for that will be in May.
Okay, yeah, that's
so,
what I remember talking last year.
Yeah, there are some other amendments to projects that are coming in May and then a couple in August too. Staff are tracking those, so
Okay.
if you have, and this, thank you Andrew for mentioning that, anybody else who has projects, if there's changes to dollar amounts or descriptions or limits or anything like that, please let us know so we can prepare to get those into the May revision. The other thing, before I hand back to you, Ryan, is the annual project listing. I think in October, maybe there was a resolution for the FY22 annual project listing. Last week, TxDOT sent us the FY23 annual project listing, and on Monday they sent us the FY24. They did clarify that we actually don't need a resolution passed for these. We can just review them and send it back. Once staff finishes reviewing, probably in the follow-up, we'll send those two listings so that TAC can look at those. And all that's in those reports is just money that was spent on projects, federal money that was spent on projects in those individual fiscal years. And that includes not only the highway projects, but also the maintenance projects in our area. Callie, do you want to talk about this scoring assessment again?
Yeah, so we've received about, I think, 4 or so survey responses to that. So if you'd like to just help us in regards to the next time we do our scoring process, if you have any ideas of how to make it easier, if you would just take that survey for us and give us your input, we'd really appreciate it.
I think we're planning whatever responses we have, we'll give a report at the next TAC meeting with those response data and then kind of the next steps for updating the scoring process.
All right, any questions on those before I go into my spill of poorly written notes that I wrote to bring out here? Okay, last month, staff MPOs were all notified about potential delays to projects due to additional requirements from DC for projects moving forward. Since that time, that notification has kind of been rescinded. We are not anticipated to see any delays in our region. We received notification from our federal highways folks in Dallas that at this time, all of our projects, all of Texas, everything is moving forward. Our planning documents, our STIP, our TIP, everything has been approved. So I don't anticipate that we'll see from this round any project delays. Staff will be at the TEMPO meeting, which is the state association meeting next Thursday and Friday. I will be in DC at the AMPO meeting, which is the national association. The policy committee is meeting up there to kind of discuss some of the strategies we have for MPOs moving forward, what funding may look like, things like that. We have a half a day on the Hill. I don't know which group I've been bucketed into, so I don't know who I may or may not get the pleasure to speak with. Staff, well, I'll do staff last, but if you have a federal grant and it has a signed agreement, you will continue to get paid, continue to work. I know that there was a lot of concern about executive orders. Hey, a lot of people are sending out stop work orders, don't do this. If you have a signed agreement right now, you are good to work on that project and should receive your reimbursement as expected. If you were awarded another grant, and I don't know how many were, I think, Andrew, you may have applied for the RAISE grant.
We did.
The build grant. If anybody, or if anybody you deal with applied for any grants and were awarded but haven't seen an agreement from Federal Highways or some other agency come through, our understanding is that those awards are still moving forward, but the agreements are being looked at heavily by DC. And there will be revisions made to those agreements before they're sent down for execution with the local partners who were awarded the funds. And we also we're continuing to track executive orders and litigation efforts and all of that and what it may mean to MPOs across the nation. That being said, the last thing I have is staff. We're 2 staff members are leaving. Dominique, he's behind the scenes. You don't see him in here a lot, but I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with him. He's leaving March 7th, Friday is his last day. And then James McGill, right here, is leaving. This will be his last TAC meeting. I'm just going to throw him right under the bus. This is his last TAC meeting. He's leaving. He got another opportunity. We wish him well. So, with that concludes my update. I don't have my air quality readings in here, so the air quality readings are on the screen. And with that, I'm open to any questions, comments, concerns.
I don't remember getting a memo or email asking my permission to let James go.
It seems to have escaped my mind, I think.
We need to put a motion on the table because I'm going to vote no. James, since I left the MPO, you came and took over, you have been on top of it. You've been responsive, you've been professional, knowledgeable. Every time I have a question I can't answer, you're right there. If you don't know, you say you don't know, and you know where to go find out, which is the highest praise I can give. So I have enjoyed working with you. Hopefully we'll cross paths with your next position. Do we know where, are we allowed to say, ask where that is?
You can. We're live and I moved to North Carolina. So.
May not cross paths.
Maybe.
We will see.
Anything else on director's updates?
I want to say again, thank you. Being fairly new in a few years, you've been very helpful. A person you can reliably go to. Appreciate it, very knowledgeable. As Jason's saying, good luck. Definitely do this. Yes.
I'll be at policy board in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, so you can see my face one more time there.
Good luck with that.
They might lock the door. I don't know. All right. Member comments. Any member comments? Are there any members on the web that would like to make any comments?
There are several members, around 10 individuals. No one has expressed an interest
No
in
member
comment.
You're right.
Yes.
I would throw in that, what's today, the 5th? So 2 days ago, we launched microtransit into the regions, and believe it or not, so far, it's been going great for 2 days. We had a couple hardware issues, but other than that, it's working well.
Thank you. Any other member comments? Yes, sir.
I was reached out, contacted to be part of a panel that's happening April 2nd in Austin. They call it Infra Day. They've got a list of speakers, City of Houston, DPSCOG, and Central Texas Mobility Authority, Dallas Department, Carolyn Mays. So we're just kind of presentations and discussions about what's happening with transportation planning, what's the future look like? I'll be on the panel about data and AI. That will be interesting. I was honored to be asked. If you're not doing anything April 2nd, come down and throw me some softball questions.
Any other member comments?
We may have one more member comment online. Brenton, did you want to unmute yourself? Well, he wrote in the comment that he seconded Jason's motions and that he wishes James all the best, and you will be missed, James.
Thank you, Brent.
No other comments. We'll move to agenda item 12. The meeting is adjourned at 10:14. Thank you all.